Hey folks, retired old soldier 1987. Last we talked, we were discussing my mid-tour leave for my 2009-2010 deployment to Iraq. I'd gotten back, I told you I'd gotten back from my mid-tour leave, and I ran into my team at the ADAC. They were getting ready to head out to a mission in Ramadi, Camp Ramadi. Turns out, for whatever reason, their flights were canceled that day, so they didn't end up going. And it also turns out, since they didn't end up going, it was going to be a couple days before they could get out. So they wanted me to go, being the NCOIC of the operating room, to head down to Ramadi to get the next mission set up. So we ended up flying down to Camp Ramadi. We were in a fixed facility there, working with some folks. I can't remember what the unit was. I think it was another unit from the 82nd Airborne Division down there we were working with. So we were setting up our forward surgical team within that facility. Turns out I ran into a first sergeant who I didn't realize at first, but it not like it makes a difference. He was a sergeant first class, but he was in the first sergeant position, so he was the first sergeant. And he was the one who actually, because of some comments that he made and some talks that he and I had a lot in common. So the terminology, the term top, when it comes to a first sergeant, it's a term of endearment, it's a term of respect. A lot of younger soldiers will call the first sergeant top, and that's fine. Me personally, I was not a fan of that, and neither was he, and he kind of helped me realize where I was and my thoughts on that. My thoughts were, especially when I'm first become the first sergeant, you don't really know me that well as a first sergeant to be using that as a term of respect. So let me earn that respect. So when early on in my first sergeant tour, and I'll talk about that later in my upcoming videos, I wasn't a fan of that term. I wanted my soldiers to call me first sergeant. Let me earn that before you call me top. But anyway, came back from the States. Turned around 3 days later, I was on a helicopter down to Ramadi to set up a new mission for the 932nd Forward Surgical Team. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that mission, which was uneventful as usual. But I'll tell you about that in my next video. And then, if you like what I'm putting out, if you like the content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, tell your friends about my channel. Drop some comments down below, let me know what you think. And until my next video, have a good one.